I couldn't wait. Hey, it's Romania Black. I couldn't wait. No, not after that cliffhanger. No way. I've spent 10 episodes waiting for these two to reunite after episode 1, and they finally do. And how do they reunite? By Mika getting stabbed by Yu's sword. What? I don't think he'll die like the other vampires because Mika's different. He's not totally vampire yet. He's like in this weird limbo space in between. But and Guren could be dead. We don't know. I don't know. So last episode we had Guren's squad. We had Guren and Mito and Goshi and Shiguri and Sayuri all come together to fight Ferret and Mika and the other vampires, including the ones that killed Yoichi's sister, which is going to be interesting. And so the only person that knows who Mika is you. And now, oh my god, that Mika knows that that's you. Ferret is going to like lord that over him. Oh my gosh. Because Ferret just said in the last episode that he's like, well, you owe me, Mika, because I helped save you from Guren. And Guren got stabbed in the heart. So I'm like, I don't know how he can live, but I'm like, we just set up him and Shinya's relationship, and y'all were like on board with me shipping them, and now I'm like, he's gonna die, so maybe we'll see him again in flashbacks. I don't know, but oh my god. And they all just took the pill. They all just doped for the first time on the battlefield. So what is that going to do? Oh my gosh, y'all. I couldn't wait. There were too many what ifs, and like the last episode was all about choices, and now I'm like, I don't know. It's the penultimate episode of season 1 of the first core. I'm gonna keep it together on YouTube and just say Seraph of the end, but it's the penultimate episode of technically season 1, the first core of the series. And I'm like, usually in a series with 12 episodes, the penultimate episode is where stuff goes down. And then your episode 12 is usually like the finale and the aftermath, dealing with everything to lead on into the next season or the next core. So things, I don't know what's going to happen in this episode because he just stabbed him. They're in the middle of a battle. There are other vampires, although Ferret said they wanted them all to back up and get ready to leave. And I feel like Ferret's going to grab Mika and go. Be like, we'll fight you another day. Come on, Mika. But I don't know. I don't know. And that's why I couldn't wait. So I'm sorry y'all had to wait a week in between, but no. It's late tonight. It's already like 10 p.m. and I'm like, it's a school night. Who cares? I was like, it's Seraph at the end. So this is like the one, I usually don't binge series and watch more than one episode in the same day, but sometimes you have to make an exception, right? And this is one of those times. So we're going to start Seraph of the End, episode 11 here in 3, 2, 1, and pray that Funimation does not lag. Oh my gosh. What the hell was this episode? What? Okay. God. This episode was crazy. God, I feel bad for Mika and you. It's not good sides, anything. There's some funky stuff going on, and Guren is super shady. Guren and the whole, this demon army, I think what Mika is incorrect about is that Mika's like, oh, your so-called friends are trying to deceive you. I don't think it's Yoichi, Kimizuki, and, well, maybe Shinoa. I don't think it's them. I don't think it's Shoichi or Kimizuki or Mitsuba that are deceptive, but Guren, for sure, they're hiding stuff from you. And it all came back around. The whole thing that there's like 10% of you that's not human anymore. It's like, wait, what? Hold on. What's not human anymore? But even the demon doesn't seem to know what it is. It's like, oh, when the demon inside of you doesn't know what's going on, that's a problem, right? This episode, God, just doing some crazy, when it starts out with the OP, it's like, I can't believe that Mika and you got to talk so much, and that Mika was just picking you up. It's like, okay, bye. We're gonna go with this guy. Time to go. Oh my gosh. So yeah, we need to talk about this episode. I'm gonna get past the OP here. I love the duality of their faces lining up. That's so good. That's so good. Their faces lining up in the shot. That's so freaking good. And then them realizing, so he didn't activate the curse. It was in the moment. He impaled him with it. And if you look, he got him like in the lung, but he didn't get him in the heart or anything. But he didn't activate the curse, and Guren told him to. Oh my God. And he's like, you're you. He's like, what are you doing? And then, yeah, Guren's like, activate the curse and kill him. So Guren should be dead. So somehow he's not. Okay. And he's like, what? And then he's like, hurry up. But that blush, Mika's like, oh my God, it's you. And then Guren's like, damn it. And I like that Mika gets out of the way. Oh. And then Guren just punches the shit out of you. He's like, which he doesn't know the context of the situation. He's just like, you let me get stabbed, you idiot. Why didn't you kill him? And everybody else is like, why didn't you kill him, you? And you's like, that's my family this whole time. Oh my gosh. Shinya coming in to save his boo. We talk about that. But yeah, he's like, look forward, Snotnose. This is a battlefield. And poor you. And they're like, Baki, what are you doing? You could have killed him just now. Why are you hesitating? And yeah, no, Mika's right. You is kind. And Mika's like, you're too kind. You're easily trusting. Oh my gosh. This is just, I feel so bad for you in this because his heart is like, I just got reunited with my best friend that I care about, the whole reason and my purpose. And I'm surprised the Demon Sword, I was wondering what Azuramaru would do knowing that Mika's, but Azuramaru seems like they're totally in line with Mika. They're like, oh, hey, your best friend Mika back there isn't totally wrong. Like, that's interesting. We're going to talk about that when we get to it. But that's interesting that Azuramaru is kind of like, nah, it's cool. And then, yeah, and Shinoa, of course, is like, what's going on? Like, you care about Guren. What's happening? And he's like, Mika is my family. And he's like, what is going on? And then, of course, Ferret is. And I think Mika was so focused on Mika and wondering why he was with the vampires in that moment that he didn't know it as Ferret until the battle. I was like, he just didn't even notice he was there. And now he's like, and they're just so blushy. They're like, are you Mika? And Mika's like, hey, God, this is not the way I wanted to meet you on the battlefield. We gotta confess our love in front of all these people. All these strangers. And yeah. And he's like, and of course, poor you, like him crying, being like, you're really Mika. Oh. And then, oh my God. And he's like, look at that cute reaction. It's been a while since you saw Yuichiro Hyakuya. Oh my God. And Fair just being like, look at you. I put two and two together. A fateful reunion. Uh-huh. I'm almost in tears. And so, yeah, he's putting the ball, he's like, probably being used by the humans. He plants that in Mika's head, and Mika's like, I'll save him, of course. So Ferret and Mika know what's up. They just don't know, they know about this human experimentation, but they don't know the extent of it and what the product is. We'll use the product of it, apparently, and Guren and them are totally chill with it. Guren, you shady mofo, what is going on? Making you your trump card, okay. And he's like, from the hands of the ugly humans. So yeah, Mika, and he says, yes. So Mika's been indoctrinated the last 4 years to think that these humans are all deceiving you. They're all evil, and you is just a pawn in their hand, which with Guren's whole thing, that could be. And you has, of course, been indoctrinated to think the vampires are all evil. And neither side helps their cause. Because you have with the humans being super shady about this whole experimentation thing, you have that going on. But then on the other hand, you have the vampires that are calling all the humans livestock and sucking their blood and using them. So it's like neither side is good at this point. We just have Mika's like the only one that I really connect to on the vampire side at the moment. Although Cruel seems like she just hangs out with her bat friend in the background. But I mean, obviously, I trust Yoichi, and Kimizuki, and Mitsuba. I don't know about Shinoa. Shinoa, I trust her, but she knows more than she's let on, clearly. And then in Yu's case, I don't trust Guren. Guren, I'm like, dude, he's using you, and that's why Mika is like so against the humans, because Guren's proving his point. And he's like, but he's a human too, and humans will never become our friends. It's like, oh, I want the power of Nakama to bond these two races together, but I don't think that's gonna happen. Maybe that'll become you and Mika's mission, to bring them all together to the table. I don't know, but yeah. And Yu is just so shocked. And God, that grimace from Mika, I love that animation where he's like, they'll never become our friends, Mika. They're never going to accept you. And Mika's just that grimace. Oh, that's so good animation. That's so freaking good. I love it. I love it. And Farrod's like, oh, I know. Farrod's like, I know how to solve this whole problem. Then, just like Cruel did to you, I'll turn you into a vampire. And before he even finishes, oh my God. And he's just like, and then, oh, I love that. I love that. And he's like, I'll kill you if you lay a hand on you. And what did he do later? He laid a hand on you, so he chopped his arm off. Yeah. And Farrod takes it surprisingly well, because I think Farrod knew. He was like, okay, you're true to your word. He's like, I'm just kidding. It's not like you get all fired up. Yeah, Farrod is going to play this for all he can. He is going to play this knowing that Mika and you are childhood friends, and he knows that Mika has a thing for you. Oh my God. And this moment, I love that he grabs Mika by the shoulders and he's like, should I lend you a hand? It's so tempting, right? It's like the devil tempting. He's like, I'll stop the other humans and you take you away. Because Mika doesn't care about any of the others. He just cares about you. And so he's like, we'll stop the other people and you can take you away. And it's so tempting. Oh my gosh. Let's go save your precious princess. Oh my God. And Mika's like, I hate you, Farrod, but at this point he's like, you have friends. It's because you're nice. But because you're too nice, you get tricked. Oh my God. And then the fire and everything, the humans, your friends, it's in italics, that are faking it are very greedy you. Oh no. And it's based on what we find out from Guren, that may not be totally wrong, but I don't think that the Mitsuba squad, that for the most part, with the exception of maybe Shinoa, that they're in on it at all. They're just being used as much as Yu is. So, and I like that we see Mika has his mouth open like he's just in a daze, and Farrod's like, yep, that did the trick. Got it. He's like, you're easy to read, Mika. Mm-hmm. Let's kill off all the humans but you. And Farrod just doing it, just swaying them hips, just going there. He's like, I heard you called for me, 7th. So yeah, so Farrod is the 7th and Crowley is the 13th. Okay. All right. And then there's these busty ladies just joining the fray. Mm-hmm. Interesting. And so yeah, the gang's all here. It's like, I just swung by. We just, we eliminated the target, so we're here now. Crowley's design is interesting. He has like the black glove that goes all the way down and it's like split in half. It's interesting. But yeah, he's like, now it's game over now that you're here. And so then that's interesting that Farrod stops fighting. He's like, oh, we don't need to fight now that you're here. It's all good. He's like, I know, let's make them livestock and we'll take the vampire extermination unit alive. So, and Crowley, Operation Livestock, and Crowley says not bad. So, so they decide they're going to take them alive. Interesting. And then Guren, amazing that he's still alive after all this. And so he orders them to retreat. And he was like, Mika's my family over there. We can't just leave him. And he's like, then do you want everybody to die? Because that's your options. And I like that Yoichi's trying to be like, they're trying to figure out what's going on. He's like, we need to go. And I feel bad for you because on the one hand, they're all just telling him to go, and Yu is clearly distraught about Mika being there, but they're all like, we need to leave. Like, we'll worry about Mika later. And Yu's like, I've just met up with the one person I've cared about all these years, and they're with the enemy, and what do I do? And the enemy is like, let's just make them all alive. So it's like such a bad situation. It's not good in any regard. Yeah. So they go to retreat, and then, yeah, Farrod and all them are like, nah. And that's when he says, I won't let you get away. And he does that like little smirky smile, and that's when you realizes who it is. That's when he realizes, like, he's been so shell-shocked, he hasn't put two and two together until the moment that Farrod, like, stands directly in front of him. Yep. And then, of course, they're all like, what are you doing? And Yu's like, emotionally compromised is the name of the game. That is this episode in a nutshell, emotionally compromised. Oh my gosh. And Farrod's not just toying with him, he's just doing cartwheels and backflips, and Guren goes in to try to help. Because he's like, this isn't good. But Farrod was just luring you away so that Mika could get him, right? And Guren steps in. Like, he wasn't gonna hurt you. He was just gonna lure him away so that Mika could get him. He says the injured lion's strike isn't as sharp. It's funny that Guren is said to be a lion, and then we see Shinya, who's like a tiger, like a white tiger. Okay. Oh my god. And then, yeah, basically the vampires are just kind of just toying with them at this point. Ugh. Because Mito gets injured, and then they're all fighting, and oh my gosh. And then they're all just doing everything they can, just battling it out against the vampires, and the vampires are trying to get them all and take them all alive, right? And then Yoichi sees the vampire that killed his sister. And so you have that going on. So you have Yoichi is clearly going to have so it's going to be interesting. Yoichi has a stake in this because Yoichi's going to be like, well, that vampire killed my sister. And Yu's going to be like, but Mika. so everybody's getting emotionally compromised except for like Kimazuki in this. And Yoichi's just like, oh shit, yeah. Because Kimazuki's trying to keep everybody in line. And then Crowley, I thought when it said hello we meet again, I thought that was the vampire that killed Yoichi's sister, but it was Crowley. And Crowley's like, I remember you, group, me and my two ladies over here. This time we're not gonna let you leave. So God, and Guren. And Farrod's just beating Guren to a pulp. I like the dynamic of Farrod versus Guren. I like that. I feel like that's gonna be a thing in this series of Farrod versus Guren. That's gonna be a rivalry. And then you throw in Shinya and all this. Which Shinya, my dude. And then, yeah, he jumps out of the way just when, God, Yu was going to attack him. And he says, but here's the thing. Farrod could have killed Yu, but he knows that he wants to toy. I feel like Farrod's toying with Mika just as much as he's toying with Yu. Right? He just does enough to piss Mika off. And he's like, let me get a taste of your blood. And then Mika's like, nope, I told you. And chops off his arm. God, his face. Oh my gosh. And to Farrod's credit, he's like, I done goofed. I realize it. Just let me grab my arm here. It was a joke. Take your princess, you know. And then I feel so bad that Yu's like, he like falls down behind him. He's so scared. And then Mika says, leave everything behind and escape with me. And he's like, what do you mean escape? Why are you with that vampire? It's like, oh. And then Mika's like, never mind, I'm going to carry you away bridal style, because that's how I roll. And then of course, yeah, Crowley just flicks Shinoa and knocks her out, right? God. So then we have this conversation that Mika's like running off with Yu, and Yu's like, hold on, explain what's going on. And then he's like, you shouldn't be there. The humans will use you. And then I like that they park on top of this gas station to talk. It's, oh my gosh. She's like, humans, what does that mean? Aren't you? He says, aren't you human? Yeah. And Mika's like, damn it. Because yeah, he says, what do you mean the humans? Because that at that moment, Yu's like, wait, why did you just say humans? Why didn't you say them? You're not human anymore, are you? And Mika's like, damn it. I'm kind of in this limbo, this weird limbo. Oh my God. He says, aren't you human anymore? Is it my fault? Is it my fault because I ran away? And you blaming himself. I'm like, no. And I'm so glad that I'm so glad Mika said it's not your fault. You're wrong. You didn't do anything wrong. He said you did nothing wrong. I love that. He says, but he's like, let's just go. It's not safe. I want him to talk to Mika so badly. I want Mika and him to talk so badly. He says, you please. And here's the thing. I wish that, he says, I can't let go. I can't go. My friends are there. And at this point, Mika, he's like, they're not your friends. Don't let them deceive you. I'm like, oh, honey, but you know you so well. You know that you easily makes these friends and he easily wants family. So I get a little frustrated with Mika because I want Mika to explain to him what's going on. And instead, he just tries to like get him away. And you's not going to go for that. He says the humans are using you. But then when you looks back, all of his friends, it's like the humans are using you, but then you see all the vampires drinking their blood and hurting them. And so what is you supposed to do? It's awful. He's like, there's nothing behind you. And that's the mistake that Mika makes. Mika doesn't realize that you has formed another family. And the sad thing is that Mika, when the vampires have told Mika that the humans are using you, but Mika believes that he's being used by the vampires. So Mika believes that him and you are in the exact same situation. Mika has been suffering these last 4 years, waiting to catch up to you and reunite with him. And so he probably thinks that you has gone through the same trauma, but that's not been the case. They've buttered you up. They've gave him a new family and friends and a demon sword and resolve. And that's not what Mika has received. And so Mika's mistake is assuming that they are in similar situations when they're not. And I'm like, but Mika, you has friends. And it's like you can't have both, right? It's so sad. Like, this part's hard to watch. And I don't want to watch them getting their blood drink again. And he's like, and Mika's still on that. They're just trying to use you. And he won't. And when he like lifts him over the shoulder, he's like, no. He's like, stop it. It's so hard to watch him flipping over. And Shinoa tells him to run away. And God, he's like, it's too late. You just need to give up. And that's when you just like breaks. Because you have his new friends, Shinoa and Yoichi and Kimazuki and Mitsuba, who are being hurt by these vampires, and he's feeling for them. And then you have his childhood friend below him that is asking him to leave all of that, and it's just too much. He can't take it. He's caught in between. And that's when all hell breaks loose, right? That's when all hell breaks loose. And Mika's like, wait, what? And then this whole business that you's like, Mika's like, wait, what? And so then, yeah, the blood, the eye, like going, like the eye completely turning red and bleeding. And Mika's like, what the hell is up with this? Oh my God. And by the end of it, that eye like has turned black and the other eye has turned red too. Like, what? And so then, yeah, then we get this scene with him and Azure the sword. And so Azure I do love the imagery. I love the Azure we see her on her tiptoes standing atop the sword. I love that visual. I love that she looks a lot like Cruel. So here's the thing. She looks like Cruel. She has the little horns on her head like Cruel does. So it's like, okay. And then you was like, what's going on? Are you trying to take me over? And that's what I thought was happening, was that Azure was like, okay, I'll take advantage of you while he's in this conflicted state. I'll take advantage. But Azure is like, I've not done anything. And she's like, this is a problem. And yeah, she has the little horns and she looks like a vampire. So do all of their demons look like vampires too? Do we not put 2 and 2 together on that and see the resemblance? She's like, I didn't think I'd be afraid of the monster inside a human that I possessed. And she looks kind of happy about it too. She's like, I didn't think I'd be scared. This is exciting. Oh, the monster inside of him. And he's like, huh? And then she's like, look at that sky. The ceiling is opening up like it's trying to shine on the cursed world. So the cursed world, like the world that they're in there, this like light opening up. And they're basically demons. So it's like, we're getting into angels and demons and stuff. And vampires are somehow in this as well. But yeah, this is like Judgment Day. It's like the rapture. I was trying to think of what to call it. And then Azure says, hey, you, Mika's right. Saying that if it's not too late, you should escape from the humans with him. Like when the demon's possessing you is telling you that maybe you should listen to a vampire. I'm like, because that's the thing. I thought going into this, that's interesting that Azure Amaru agrees with Mika. Because you would think going into this, I thought the vampires and the demons would be opposing forces. But it seems like they're just different forces. And the vampires recognize how dangerous the demons are. And they're like, oh, when the humans have these demons in their possession, or when the demons have these humans in their possession, they're dangerous and they could kill us. So that's why they're fighting them. And they're trying to subjugate them to keep themselves alive. But I have so many questions. I'm like, how long have why have the vampires picked until the virus happened to like come out of hiding? Have they always been there? Did they come from another dimension? What's happening? I need exposition. I need lore. And we're slowly getting it trickled in. But this whole thing, I was trying to think of what to call it. And it's like the rapture, like Revelations, like the sky opening up. And there's the horns. He's like, she says, if you don't, you won't be able to stay human. So like you'll become something else. And then he's like, what's wrong? And that's when you hear the horns. And they're just like the trumpets blaring, right? Okay. The trumpets blaring, and then we see above head, it's like Anguimon. It's like, I thought of the angels from Digimon. But yeah, there's angels. There's angels in the sky. They look like angels, and they have the big wings and like the trailing dresses. What the hell? And then Azure Amaru says, I guess it's too late. Oh. What? And yeah, there's 7 horns. And it almost looks like 6 or 7 angels. Ha ha ha. The non-human part of you is going to lose control. And it almost seems like in that moment, it just like bursts out of him, but it's like an angel wing, but it's black. It's like the demonic forces inside of him. Like, cause there's a demon possessing him inside of him. It's like the demon forces. And Ferret is like, huh? Ferret's like, what? And Guren's pleased as punch that this is happening. And Shinoa looks like, what the hell? Shinoa knows something. Shinoa knows something's up. Because Shinoa knows something up because Guren says it's up to her to save him. Okay. So Shinoa, and all it required, at the moment I was like, is she gonna have to do something? But she just hugged you and talked him out of it. So Shinoa knows that I think Shinoa knows what's happening to you, but she's just not saying anything. And somehow she's tied. It's all kind of making sense now. If Guren is saying that use his trump card and is the trump card of the demon army, Shinoa, this top brass girl who just happens to be the daughter of the highest ranking family in the demon army, she gets assigned to watch over you. And she's the one that brought up the human experimentation, like in episode 3 about all this. Okay. All right. Yeah, Shinoa knows something's up. She knows what's up. Okay. All right. And Mika's just like, what the hell? He says, so the humans are really. So he says that there's some experimentation going on. And it's almost like he doubted it, but now it's confirming it. He's like, and then he tells you to come with him. But yeah, and then you just attacks. So I'm wondering if because of whatever's happening to you, if it's tied to Shinoa, if Shinoa's going to have to be there to be like a buffer for him. That's going to be interesting because Mika was like, get away, get your filthy hands off of you. But if Shinoa's the only one that can reach him, But yeah, he looks like it's like an angel wing, but it's also demonic and like sludge and blood. And all the vampires are like, the hell? Yeah, it's just like this sludge coming off of him. It's gross. And it's just like taking him over. He looks like a monster. And then the fact that, and to prove just how dangerous he is in this state, like he attacks and it causes like the giant crater in the ground. It nearly kills Shinoa and takes her out. And he can fight Crowley like one-on-one and be on equal footing with him. And we've seen just how much stronger Crowley is originally from him. So, okay. I'm curious to know if the pill that he took, if it had been 15 minutes, if the pill had wore off while all this was going on, right? Because the pill was there to put you on the edge of the demon taking over. But Azure Amaru didn't seem like she was going to take him over at all. So, I don't know. And Mika's just trying to figure it all out. And so then, yeah, Shinoa waking up and Guren. And so then he's like, what is that? The humans can create such a creepy monster. That was Crowley saying that. And I love that Farid turns to Guren. And I love the animation on Farid's face. He's like, what is that? Like, I love that Farid wants to know. And the vampires don't know either. And then interesting, Guren's like, I don't know. Beats me. No, he knows. There's something going on. And then he's like, more than likely, it's you humans' favorite. Human experimentation. Like, something's going on. Where does that infinite greed come from? Oh, buddy. And it's like Shinoa tries to attack in that moment, but oh my God. And so this line here, honestly, it scares me. On top of that, you guys always lose control of it. So yeah, you've been experimenting, but you've lost control. And Farid doesn't seem surprised by that. Interesting. He's like, see? And I guess that would tie into them experimenting with the doping, with the contracts. He's like, you humans don't know how to control anything, so you lose control of the contacts and you get killed. You take too many of the pills and you get killed. Now he's like, this experiment that you've formed with you is about to kill Shinoa. Oh my God. And then he says, sinners must be annihilated. Ugh. Okay. That's creepy. And Shinoa just looks terrified. And then Guren says, you have to do something. You can still come back from that. So yeah, Guren is just using Shinoa too. Saying that she has to be the one to like keep him under control. She's the one that keeps him on a leash. What the hell? How does this work? I'm so curious. And I'm wondering if Mika, so in that moment when Guren says, you're the only one that can save you, I wonder if one of the reasons that Mika saves you, one of the reasons that Mika saves Shinoa is because he heard that and he knows that Shinoa is the only one that can save you. Okay. Ugh. And then, yeah, he's gonna kill her. And she turns to run away, and that's when Mika saves her. Oh my gosh. And I love that her hair slowly falls out. And he's like, don't kill humans. So that's interesting. So he was just trying to get him. So yeah, that's interesting. He's trying to get him away from the humans, but at the same time, he doesn't want him to kill humans. It's funny because Mika seems like he doesn't care about any of the others, but he doesn't want you to kill a human. I guess he doesn't want you to have that on his hands because he's like, if you comes back from this and realize he killed a human, he's never going to be able to forgive himself. So, oh my gosh. And then, yeah, Shinoa's like, why did you do this? And he's like, how dare you use you? Like, he's like, I don't know. Because I didn't want him to. And then, yeah. And so it starts to dissolve him. He says injury won't heal. Oh my gosh. And that's when, and it almost seems like he says annihilate, but he's not trying to kill Mika. He's not trying to kill the vampires. He's trying to get to Shinoa. So I'm curious if these angels are trying to kill the humans or how does this work? And then Guren like putting all the pressure on Shinoa. Guren's like, hurry up, Shinoa, or everyone's gonna die. I love Guren's voice actor, and Guren has a great design, but his character, I'm like, you are shady as hell, you mofo. Like, I want an explanation. What is going on? Why are you gaslighting Shinoa? Why are you making her do things? Why? And yeah, her hugging him, I'm so curious why this works. I'm wondering if it's because they're friends, so she gets him to snap out of it and something familiar, and Mika's like, let me get the sword out of here. Quit touching my boyfriend! But that is what works. Oh my God. And then, yeah, that manages to work. And then like her hair's all down and everything. And so I'm so curious what's going to happen next because he wakes up and like looks down and coughs up the black blood. And then Shinoa, of course. And then everything's starting to get dark, like the sun's going down. Oh my gosh. And Yu's just passed out. And Mika's is like, damn those humans. Like they've done this to my bestie. And then, so he's like, quite a show. That's my trump card. It's my trump card. I'm like, oh, Guren, no. Quit using you. I hate it. No. And Guren's like, well, you didn't really do much. Just destroy some shit. And then Guren says it was all just stalling. He's like, yeah, I pit these two boos against each other so I can get my boo up there on the rooftop with his sniper rifle. I'm like, I do like Shinya's weapon. And then, of course, yeah. He's like, they found out, but it's too late. And so his pierce the enemy's Byakumaru. Okay. He's so handsome with his, like, platinum blonde hair and blue eyes. Shinya's a very handsome man. Interesting. And try not to hit Guren. Boom. Ah, man. And it's like a knife. Like, the thing comes out of the knife. Interesting. And so the demons are like tigers. And they're like, shit! Let's move! So I wonder if they're going to try to take Mika away and get him out of there. And so Farron's like, man, if you hadn't just ran your mouth, I probably would have died. But then here we have and they say they're going to take the nobles alive. Interesting. So it's, yeah, both sides are doing the exact same thing. The only difference is that the vampires are drinking their blood. But both sides are at each other. And then that's when this guy comes in, the Hiragi clan leader. And Guren's like, I tried my best. I'm like, it's so cute when he does the shrug gesture, but I'm like, Guren, I'm also kind of mad at you because you're shady as hell. The Hiragi family will take it from here. Damn. Yep, we need to show them. Okay, and so there's Guren's squad. We need to show them to the marrow, to the bone, what happens to those who go against the humans, the Japanese Imperial Demon Army, the Hiragi family. And so the others are getting helped. All right. Oh my gosh. And then we cut off with the Hiragi guy. So as we leave this episode, oh my God, Mika is with Shinoa and Yu and Farrah to them. I feel like Farrah to them are going to retreat and grab Mika and go. And then Yu's going to get taken by Shinoa, but I feel so bad for Yu because Yu's going to be like, what the hell? Why? What happened to me? Explanation, please. Like, I'm hoping that they give Yu some explanation as to what's going on. And Mika, because Mika clearly knows something's wrong, but like this series is so interesting because both sides, like, I don't sympathize with the vampires necessarily because they're calling the humans livestock and they're drinking their blood. They're clearly doing bad things to them. But then when you see Guren and them just use Yu as a trump card and they clearly know something they're not telling him, both sides are doing shady stuff. And we don't have the explanation as to why. And somehow there are angels and demons involved in all this. Freaky stuff going on. I'm so curious, but yeah, I couldn't wait from last week. I had to watch this episode. I'm really glad that I did. But what are we going to do, y'all? What a cliffhanger. It's funny. We have a cliffhanger on top of a cliffhanger. A cliffhanger from the last episode. And then we have this one. So, God. This was great, y'all. This was really great. But now we can see what's going to happen next. So, fun times. So I'm curious to know your thoughts down below, what you all thought of this. No spoilers, please. I'm so excited to find out. The world building has sucked me in now because now that we got all these angels and there's horns and the fact that the demon is like, you probably ought to listen to the vampires. I'm like, now I'm super curious. So we'll see what happens next week. But in the meantime, I hope y'all enjoyed this reaction. I'm curious to know your thoughts down below, but have a great week, y'all. Stay safe, take care. And yeah, I'll be back next week with episode 12, the season 1, core 1 finale of Seraph of the End.